好，同志们，好，同志们，我们都在轰轰烈烈的，站起来，站起来！Welcome to the 288th edition of China Now with your gang of two. Nan Su, who is the senior investigative reporter for Epoch Times, and yours truly, Michael Olson, who long ago was dissuaded from becoming a China hound by the great helmsman himself, Mao Zedong. Each week, Don Sue and I look out across the broad expanse of the Pacific Ocean from our home port here at SantaCruzVoice.com, and we ask, China now, friend or foe, war or peace? Ni hao, Nan Su.
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending where you are.
We are everywhere. We are everywhere. Well, we're still shaking things out from the Trump visit to Xi Jinping in Beijing. And of late, we note that Trump is delaying the arms sales to Taiwan. And statements from Trump and the Pentagon and Taiwanese administration are all sowing confusion by saying the reason is different for each party involved. And that, so we're kind of wondering what's going on. Why did Trump delay arms sales to Taiwan?
Well, I think that there it's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed. That's right.
It's not confirmed that the arms sales is delayed. There are different explanations right now. And by the way, the key here is it's defer. It's not cancel. Okay. Um.
I
I
guess delay is or deferred is the term we have to bear in mind here.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that one of the major reasons that possibly is that the ongoing Middle East war, the major military operation in Iran, that there's a lot of munitions being used. So I think that that's one of the reasons that some of the arms sale probably will get some delay.
Also, it's not just in the Middle East, but we're also sending some munitions up toward uh, the Russia conflict in Ukraine.
That's probably not a major reason because that's been going on for years, right? So I think it's probably the Iran operation that exhaust a lot of munitions. So that could be one reason, and I think maybe they need to tell more iron out more details. Some of the I would say not that all of those things on the list to be sold to Taiwan it's not available. But I think some items originally planned probably need get some delay. That I think that's the possibility.
Well, in point of fact, we have delayed a lot of arms that we have already agreed to send.
Yeah, not only to Taiwan. That's true.
So a whole bunch of different things, including F-16 jets, fighter jets, and probably HIMARS rocket systems and so on. So we have not sent a lot of the things that we have already agreed to send. And so Trump put this kind of on the table. And I wonder if it isn't partly to mollify Xi Jinping as part of the recent buddy-buddy get-together.
I don't think so.
Good.
That everything Trump is doing right now, it aims to defend the peace at Western Pacific, right? So everything like even the operation in Iran, what's the final goal, right? The final goal it's still to defend the peace at the Western Pacific. So I think that um, to to please Xi Jinping. I think that's the last reason that I will think about it. I don't think it's possible. Uh, so I think it's really the military operation in Iran that that basically exhausted a lot of munitions, and they need I think even some of the missile system batteries being shifted from South Korea to somewhere in the Middle East. That's why I read.
Hmm.
So therefore, I think that the U.S. military in the region need a lot of supplies.
This is something we've talked about over the years, over 288 China Now shows. When Russia invaded the Ukraine again, we kind of looked at each other and wondered if this not wasn't a plan from the axis of evil to wear down the United States to the extent that it would be afraid to fight China should it invade Taiwan. Let's start a war here. Let's start a war there. Let's make the U.S. expend all of its ammunition, um, and so that when we do invade Taiwan, they won't have enough ammunition to fight
That's right. We have been talking about this
for a long time.
yeah, for a long time. Because in China, ever since it's been many years, they openly discuss about when will be the best time for the Chinese military to invade Taiwan. And the discussion was that they say, well, if there's a war between Russia and Europe, and if there is and if there is a war in the Middle East between Iran and Israel, and then there's a war between South Korea and North Korea, then it would be a perfect timing for the CCP military to invade Taiwan. So you look at things around. I think this is the moment that they've been talking about for a long time, but things didn't happen in the way that all these Chinese military strategists hope, right? If it was 10 years ago, um, maybe that's a good timing, but now it may not be a good timing because China, its economies start falling down. It's like a free fall ever since 2020, beginning of 2023. So they have a lot of economic headaches facing the CCP. And also, when the economy falls down, then Xi Jinping is facing a lot of resistance from its military, from its government, from the CCP party inside, to continue into his fourth term. So that basically change a lot in the ways that they have been hoping.
Yeah, we got what we want, which is war everywhere, but it's not quite the war everywhere that we want to have before we attack. Also, in addition to China's economy collapsing, its military seems to be collapsing of sorts too, in respect that Xi Jinping has been conducting purges of his major military characters for years now. And it seems like he must have Boy Scouts in charge of the military because that's about all that's left.
Well, yeah, he arrested a lot of generals. Now he's in the process to promote a bunch of them. Probably, I will predict probably in August or no, somewhere between August and October. That very likely. Yeah, because October, November, they're going to have the CCP's fifth plenary meeting. So
Is
for the
this where Xi Jinping places himself in nomination for a fourth term during
no,
this? No,
no,
this is
that
the
will be
next
next year.
year.
Yeah,
Okay.
be next year. Yeah. So this year they are start, making arrangements of personnel. So they probably will start, they will internally they probably will we're gonna see signs who is going to be in the standing committee of the Politburo next year. So this year they probably have some pre-arrangements. Of course, it's not final. Between this year, the between later this year and later next year, you're going to see a lot of power struggle inside the CCP among different factions. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I
Behind closed doors.
right. I will say, the in the current standing committee of the Politburo, there only Xi Jinping and another one, Ding Xuexiang. These two probably will continue into the fourth term, into the next term, and to, to Xi Jinping, it's his fourth term, and then Ding Xuexiang will go with him. He is the only one that's younger than 68. So
What is the significance of the age?
yeah, yeah. Well, they in China, they ever since Jiang Zemin, they have they have an unwritten rule. Basically, it's if you're young, you're 67, you can serve one more term. You're 68, you're gone.
And
So
Xi Jinping is how old?
well, no, Xi Jinping is the exception, right?
The
There's no
emperor
rules.
doesn't count.
He above the rules, right? So now before the Xi Jinping, that was the rule. But after Xi Jinping, he make everybody in compliance of that rules except himself.
Ah,
Um, so now in the current standing committee of Politburo, Ding Xuexiang is the only one uh, because I believe he was born in 63. So, 63, yeah, so
37.
next year he will be what, 64, right?
Wow.
So he will be able to serve one more term.
Okay.
So he probably my guess is he is going to take the position of currently held by Tai Chi, right? The most important guy of the CCP. Because now Ding Xuexiang, he used to be Xi Jinping's secretary.
Oh, okay, right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
He knows all the secrets.
Yeah, he knows all the secrets, and also the same as Li Qiang, right? The current premier, Li Qiang is also Xi Jinping's secretary. But Li Qiang was Xi Jinping's secretary earlier on when she was the Secretary General of Zhejiang Province.
Now, what position does Sai Chi hold? He always seems to me to be the enforcer.
Yeah, yeah, he got everything that the Xi Jinping does. It's arranged by him, basically.
Now,
So he everywhere Xi Jinping goes, he will follow. Basically, that's what it is. Now, whatever he's doing, Ding Xuexiang did it before. So basically, Ding Xuexiang, you look at Ding Xuexiang's whole experience, he is a party guy. He's not a government guy. So he's
this
inside.
is something that's really important for everybody to bear in mind that there's a difference
Yeah,
between a government guy and a party guy.
yeah. But however, on the 20th CCP National Congress, which was what 2022, um, that Xi Jinping promoted him to put him, not didn't promote him, but put him in the position first deputy premier. prime minister.
Okay.
He's there's
So he's
like
a deputy.
yeah, he's a group of deputy prime minister. Um, but he listed as number one deputy prime minister.
All right. So who's
So
Li Cheng is the prime minister.
yeah, Li Chang is the prime minister. So now that there's a lot of guessing. So but now you're looking back, it all makes sense. So what Xi Jinping did was now he put Ding Xuexiang with he who has no you know no experience really manager and really managing any of the local government economy, and he was a pure party guy, and put him as the first deputy prime minister. So basically,
We have always made note of the fact that the party comes first, always.
yeah, the party comes first, but party, they still need to appoint people
Yeah.
with certain experience, right? Unless they want this guy to be prepared for something. Now, I think Ding Xuexiang probably will take Cai Qi's position. Uh, I another guess is he will be the next prime minister,
Okay.
right? But I personally
Well,
uh
Tai Chi's not the prime minister.
no, well, another guess is Ding Xuexiang is going to replace Li Qiang, right?
Okay. There you go.
And it's another guess, but my personal guess is not that he's going to replace Li Qiang because Ding Xuexiang doesn't. He just serve 5 years of first the deputy prime minister doesn't mean he's basically experience wise qualified to take the lead of the government. So I think it's more likely Ding Xuexiang is going to replace Cai Qi, which is pretty much take care on the party side, and also uh, because by the next year, uh, I think that Xi Jinping's plan is going to he's going to get involved little less on both sides, party and government, because he's going to be uh, it, his health situation and his age.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not. Going to a lot. It's
Got to
not
do some more fishing.
not fishing, but it's not going. He cannot work as hard as before.
Yeah.
He cannot handle too much. So
Well,
I think
as looking back, Nansu, it seems like the most dangerous position in the Chinese Communist Party is to be number two to Xi Jinping.
well, he's not going to appoint a number two, right? So now, he want the reason I say he cannot he cannot do a lot of work. That's the reason, he needed someone to watch out for him for what's happening in the government.
Right? And
So,
in the party too, probably.
right, both sides. So right, currently Li Qiang is the guy handled the government part, and Cai Qi is the part handled everything else, mainly the party part, right? Uh, Now Ding Xuexiang is going to replace Cai Qi to watch the party part, but also, he will probably rely on Ding Xuexiang to watch what's going on in the government part. The next prime minister,
What are they going to do with Tai Chi?
he's a retire. He's old enough. He's 71 or 72 already. So he's going to retire. That's what my belief. Everybody, is going to retire besides Ding Xuexiang and
Besides
Xi
Xi
Jinping.
Jinping, right?
Yeah, so both Li Qiang and Cai Qi are going to retire. And that's the strategy of Xi Jinping. He make everybody retire, one term.
Ah,
He make everybody retire probably one term. Uh, uh, so that's his style because nobody can stay there for very long. Then
hatch hatch plots against Xi Jinping if you know you're going to be gone here shortly. Well, I'd be willing to bet a silver dollar that Tsai Chi doesn't leave. I'll bet he'll stay.
all right. Oh, let's do a lunch.
Okay, lunch it is. Tsai
Okay.
Chi stays.
No, I don't think Cai Qi is going to stay. I think that Ding Xuexiang most likely, okay, that's not part of the bet, okay? That's not
Okay.
part of the bet. But because that could be varieties. So varieties of possibilities. So that but based on right now, the things I'm looking at from now, I think Ding Xuexiang is going to replace Cai Qi, and the current Shanghai CCP Secretary General Chen Jining, he is the one probably going to replace Li Qiang, become the next prime minister. Uh,
Oh,
but because Chen Jining, he never, well, in the current situation, Xi Jinping will not be able to find the one, who served previously as his personal secretary, to be promoted. So therefore, I think Chen Jining uh, is going to replace Li Qiang, and Xi Jinping is going to rely on Ding Xuexiang to watch out for him, to somehow watch out what's going on in the government.
so of course, all of these processes are very opaque because they all happen behind closed doors and happen over great periods of time. And so it's really hard to judge what the heck is going on when it happens in the dark, as it does there. Uh, One thing, though, that last week we brought up the notion of the Thucydides trap. And it seems like that has bubbled up in the news groups, of which I happen to check out here and there. And so when we come back from this break, I'd like to pick up Xi Jinping's opening remarks at the Xi-Trump summit in Beijing when he said the world has reached a new crossroads. Whether China and the U.S. can overcome the Thucydides trap is a question of history, a question of the world, and a question of the people. So it's a pretty big deal. So we'll pick that up when we come back from this very short break. This is China Now with your gang of two, Nansu and Michael Olson, and you as well. So stay tuned for the Thucydides trap right now.
Satisfy your hunger with a fresh, prepared, twice-daily grab-and-go sushi you'll find waiting for you at Sushi Market Sprouts, 2 blocks from the beach at 300 7th Avenue in Santa Cruz. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
Hello, I'm Junko, and I look forward to serving you at the Sushi Market Sprouts.
Satisfy your hunger right now with the delicious ramen and sushi you'll find waiting for you at Kaito, easy in and out location in the Capitola Mall food court. Special orders welcome. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
This is Koji. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my restaurant, Kaito.
California coast to the fertile valleys inland. Earthwise Land Service is your land's best friend. Earthwise can clear it, mulch it, move it, sculpt it, green it, drain it, or retain it, any way you choose. Earthwise Land Service is your land's best friend.
Hi, I'm Carolyn, and I have some property behind my home at Larkin Valley that I've never seen. It was completely overgrown with brush and poison oak, well over 10 feet high. I wanted to have it cleared to protect my horses from wildfires, but nobody could do the job. Then I called Buck at Earthwise. Buck brought out his big brush-eating machine and turned all the brush and poison oak into mulch. It was truly transformational. Thanks to Earthwise, my property is now like a park and I can trail ride my horses.
Earthwise Land Services, your land's best friend.
There is more than one way to enjoy the benefits of cannabis. Hi, I'm Carly from Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 Soquel Drive, SoCal. With tinctures, Treehouse tinctures are available in many different flavors, are rapid acting and versatile, and offer precise dosage control for consistent enjoyment. Treehouse has a friendly staff to help you select the right tincture for your needs. Blue raspberry, anyone? Stop by and say hi. Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 Soquel Drive, SoCal.
Or ourtreehouse.io.
我们为哪来的？我们是中国现在 China now. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard the term the Thucydides Trap mentioned a number of times recently, most especially by Xi Jinping himself. And what is the Thucydides Trap? It's a story of how when two countries, the dominant country and a rising country, come to grips and contend, it almost always ends in war. So contends Graham Allison from Harvard in his book, Destined for War, who analyzed 16 cases of emerging powers emerging from existing hegemons over the past 500 years, 12 of the 16, ended in war. And Xi Jinping is now insisting that if we don't watch out, we're going to become involved in that war. Nansu, the CCP had rejected the Thucydides Trap for a number of years and now is promoting it, is kind of a threat, a wolf warrior threat to the United States. If you don't handle this Taiwan situation as we want you to handle it, you're likely to find yourself in a war. There you go.
See, I don't think Xi Jinping is ready. I think he's bluffing. I think that the way that he mentioned the Thucydides trap, it's not to really trying to.
Well, he's suggesting we have to come to a new way of dealing with each other here.
No, I think this is. I think it's. He realized. See, I say that. Last program, basically Trump was visiting Beijing, with a lot of strength in his hand because we control the energy now. We control the oil, right? So now Xi Jinping is using this Thucydides trap. It's a different way. It's not a threaten. I think he want to he make that threat, but he really want to he realize his shortcoming of energy, and that's one
and markets. So he has a shortfall of energy. He has a shortfall of markets for all of his production, and so he wants to let's make a deal with Trump.
Yeah, he wants to make a deal, but also he's saying that in different way because he knows when he make that statement, it's public, so that his own party member are all listening.
Right.
So he's saying that not only to Trump, but also to all the Chinese Communist Party members. Now, the way he uses through city that term, it's to basically it's a different way saying repeat his theory of the rising of the East and then the decline of the West,
Yes.
right? So, but he's using it in a different way to relate that two different part together. So I think that he's saying that in that scenario, when he met Trump in the public space, he still it's one of his effort to continuously paving the way for him to be ready to continue into the fourth term. A part of that reason that he's saying that to Trump. It's actually to convince the Communist Party members to let him go into his fourth term.
In addition, in 2025, he publicly suggested that United States and China kind of do an update of the 1985 Plaza Accord, in which five of the group of seven got together and decided to open up their market, open up America's market by rigging the currency so that it would devalue the American dollar. And from that, Japan was able to move manufacturing into the United States because the yen was much more valuable than the dollar. So it created a vacuum in which Japan shipped a lot of manufacturing here. And so instead of shipping cars from Japan to the United States, they manufactured them here. And it created a lot of jobs. However, from that, Japan was not able to earn as much foreign currency, and therefore they experienced to keep their economy going, they printed a lot of money and thus led to the Japanese economic bubble that when it burst really caused a lot of trouble. Now, China and Trump, I think, are might well be going for an update of that kind of currency reevaluation in which China could set up manufacturing here in the United States, perhaps. And
I think that's the last thing we want.
That's the last thing we want, but it might be exactly what China wants. So,
well, see, China and Japan are totally two different nations. Japan is our ally. China is our enemy, right? So even China want to do that, we wouldn't want them to come.
But what if Trump is going for the really big deal here?
I don't know
that
what
would
the
be
deal
a rapprochement of China and the United States in a way that the two countries could actually get along and do business together. Is that possible? That's what he's thinking?
I think that's stupid.
Well, let me throw something on the table. This I
I think
picked up.
that's stupid.
Okay,
Yeah, well, China is our enemy, period.
that's what I think, and that's what you think. That's for sure. But this from Donald Trump in talking to the press. He said three things that set the Chinese internet afire this week. The first thing he said is Taiwan is just 95 miles from China, while America would have to cross 9,500 miles to fight this war. It's just too difficult. That's what he said. Number two.
That's why we need to provide arms sales to Taiwan so that
Amen.
can
And
develop.
Japan and everybody else. The second thing he said, Taiwan has stolen America's chip industry over the years, and we need to get it back. That's the second thing he said. And then the third thing he said was the unsigned arms package for Taiwan is actually a very useful bargaining chip. So I just wonder if Trump really isn't trying to do business with China and
Well,
what kind of business that would actually be. Because Nancy, I can't for the life of me figure out why he went to China.
well, there is well, first of all, it's better to talk to China
Yes.
at this moment to defend again and again, I say he's not going to China just because he need to sell the poultry or beans or aircrafts. It doesn't
No,
need
I
the
don't think
president.
so either. I
So
think
I think it's to talk to Xi Jinping and then to uh to and also there's a huge sideshow there. You see that all the American business executive went to China. That did you see that Jason Huang, holding a big bowl of Beijing noodle. He's standing in the street. He's
and do you see where this week he in Taipei he announced that he was expanding his NVIDIA chip making facility in Taipei, not United States.
No, no, no. Let's keep going on the things we're talking about.
Okay.
He was standing in the street in the Beijing and
Yep.
eating a big bowl of noodle, and he
He was
like
very happy.
he was happy. He's the kind of a person who likes the street food, right? So now that video went viral in the internet in China.
Yep.
So those things, it's a big uh, a gesture to the Chinese. Now,
So it's a let's make a deal gesture, is it not?
no, this is like see, think about this. If Xi Jinping won the war, he need to mobilize the whole country. Now that you have Trump bring all business executive going to China, it's a big show. It's harder for Xi Jinping to mobilize the Chinese population against America. America comes, with all the business executives. They want to do business with
Yeah,
China.
that's what I meant. Let's do business.
Yeah, yeah, but that's a show. That's not real. Think about this. You think about those Blackstone, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, and Citibank. Those big money, are they really going to? They're not stupid.
Yeah, why would they want to go back there when they've already pretty much been run out of Dodge? You know,
Right. Yeah, the China it's in deflation for almost 2 years. Why they're going to go there? And plus the huge everyday increasing geopolitical risk. They're not going there. So that is just a show. It's a show of doing business. Now China doesn't even want to buy Nvidia chip. Think
so you're
about
suggesting it's really,
it's a peace.
yeah,
It's to defend the peace. I'm saying that again and again.
okay.
You need to find all the ways to delay the war and to defend the peace. That's what the trip was about. So they're not really going. Uh,
So
Elon
they
Musk,
weren't there for Xi
think about
Jinping. They were
yeah.
there for the people of China.
They're going there for America for peace. We want a peace because it takes time for all this making America great again policy to become
Yeah.
effective, right? You get, it takes time to bring the manufacturer home. It takes time to strengthen the middle class. It all takes time, but we won't have time without peace. So that's what the chip is about. So now that you see another example is Elon Musk. You think he's going to invest more in China? He already he already lost the entire electrical car market in China.
Not all of them,
Because
but a
yeah,
big part of them. Yes, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah, because all the
Well, he
Chinese
taught them how
electrical
he
cars.
taught China how to make EVs, and they did.
Yeah, they did, and then they beat him, right? So he's not going back there. But however, he just went there personally. Why? Because Trump asked him to. All these, business executive, Jensen Huang, Trump asked him. He was originally was not even on the list to be invited to go with him, but Trump in the last minute make personal call and have him in the airplane, to board the airplane.
Yeah.
So all this is a big show. It's a big show. It's for peace. And Trump has a big stake, not just the carrots. It has a lot at stake. That's energy, right? And then a bunch of business leaders that those are the carrots. So he has holding a big stick and a bunch of carrots. That's how he went to Beijing. It's really for peace.
Well,
Uh,
Treasury Secretary Brissent has been suggesting that a deal is near with the CCP. And what kind of deal would that be?
a business deal, possibly, we want China
Selling soybeans?
well, soybeans and plus maybe some aircrafts, maybe some poultries like a beef and chicken. Those things. It's not going to make the peace alone. Those things alone will not make peace. But all this diplomacy that really promote the peace.
Mhm.
And now think about this. Ch Trump start this military operation in Iran in the perfect timing because China is facing economic fall down. And then Russia is
Big
busy.
trouble.
Yeah,
It's in
Russia,
big trouble.
yeah. Both they don't have really have time and energy to help Iran. So that's why Trump should not drag any longer. He need to finish the war in Iran. So now and then he can come back quickly to Western Pacific. That's very important. Now but however, all these things, the diplomacy, the visit to Beijing, and all the invitation to have Xi Jinping coming. Now, think about this. United States president went to Beijing in April, and then, in September, Xi Jinping is going to come. That means what? That means there will be no war around Taiwan this year, right?
Well, we bought that much time. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
then maybe
Xi Jinping said by 2027. That's next year.
okay, I don't think he's going to be ready because next year Xi Jinping is all going to be all busy to arrange that how he's going to continue into the fourth term. There's a lot of internal power struggle inside the CCP next year. So I don't think that there will be a war. But the war is coming closer and closer to us every day. I think that's how we look at the situation.
And with respect to Iran, uh, Mojtaba Khamenei issued a message on May 26th calling for greater unity across the Muslim world against the United States and Israel, saying that chants of death to America and death to Israel will become the rallying slogans of Muslims and the oppressed of the world. Now, countering that, which we've been going through for 47 years, death to America, death to Israel, from the Iranian leaders, is the notion of the Abraham Accords that Lindsey Graham, if it says that if Trump can get Saudi Arabia to sign the Abraham Accords and work with Israel and the rest of the Middle East, it would be the greatest diplomatic feat ever in the history of mankind
Uh,
because
yeah,
they've
well,
been fighting there forever. So, which is most likely to happen in
well,
Europe?
I think that's a long-term goal. See, I think the biggest problem right now in the Middle East is Saudi. I mean, Saudi is dragging the U.S. military, not going to finish the job in Iran. That's Saudi. Now, I don't trust.
Why are the Sauds against completing this job against their traditional enemy in Iran?
Well, I think that possibly, the CCP is behind it. I think that think about this. Saudi had a very complicated relation with Beijing. And China is the biggest purchaser of Saudi oil. Saudi probably sell probably about 50% of its export oil to China. Um, Somehow I smell CCP behind Saudi.
Well, didn't the CCP arrange a truce between Iran and the Saudis? Last year, I think it was. They got
So
together in
it's
Beijing and signed an agreement.
see, this is interesting, right? Um, we want to finish the job. We don't want, Saudi on the surface, they don't want Iran to have nuclear weapon. But when the U.S. Started the military action in Iran, now during the ceasefire, Saudi keep calling Trump, that asking him to not to restart the military operation again, and but they don't want America to leave. This is interesting, right? If why don't you want the American military to finish the job but that they started
But
in
don't want you to leave, yeah.
in Iran?
Because we're doing their bidding.
See,
We're maintaining the peace for them.
well, I think they are part of the game. I'm not saying that they are against the United States. No, they don't. But I'm saying they fall into the trap of CCP somehow. CCP somehow using them, using their fear, using the fear of the GC nations, and also using their interests, their national interests. They don't want to the war start again, so that because if the war started again, then Iran probably will attack all of these countries again. So use all these things play into the hands of CCP. I think that's what the result we're seeing. But however, this morning, I'm not sure if I read it right. They say there was a peace deal already made between United States and Iran. It was just a couple hours ago, and the deal
Wow.
was it's now on the desk of President Trump. He need to approve it. I'm not sure that was the. I read a part of it. Maybe that was true, but I don't know. But I don't know. From yesterday to today, the changes are so dramatically. But yesterday they still want the Iran want the
Death to America.
that's to America, and now today they want a peace deal. But I don't know if that's true. But but let's keep checking.
Well, here it is. 24 minutes ago, it says that Mojtaba Khomeini has not approved the drafted 60-day memorandum of understanding with the U.S., which is why President Donald Trump has also not agreed to a deal.
Great.
This follows a Thursday report that negotiations from the U.S. and Iran have reached an agreement on a memorandum of understanding to extend the ongoing ceasefire. So the deal would be to extend the ceasefire longer. So what does that deal encompass? Are we going to open up the Gulf? Are we going to?
Well, first of all, as late as yesterday, they still say they want to manage the Strait of Hormuz.
Sure, they want to take tolls.
Yeah, which is no, and also they didn't agree to give up enrich the uranium, right?
So they haven't agreed to anything in essence.
But I think these are the two basic things Trump need in order for him to end this operation. If he did, he cannot just walk away from Middle East without these two things. Not one, he need to have these two. Now, even these two, it's not a perfect ending because Israel is going to be angry because only with these two, it's not enough. It's probably basically satisfy United States, but not Israel, because what Israel want, Israel want the Iranian regime to stop supporting Hezbollah.
Yeah, of course. And all the
Right.
other
So this
hooligan
is the
army.
third item. No, well, this is third item. I think Trump can walk away without this third item. Just let Israel, the war between Israel and Hezbollah,
Go on
continue.
and on and on and
You're
on.
right, right. He can walk away with just two. Now it's better to have three, and of course, there's a fourth one. I'm not sure if Trump can get it, in the way he's dealing with it in the whole ceasefire time. The fourth one, it's Iran need to stop this ballistic missile, intercontinental ballistic missile,
Ah,
that kind of thing. I'm not sure if he's going to get it. But at least you know, two out of that first three, I hope he's going to get it.
and that would be the
Yeah, the nuclear
dust, he
and
calls
plus,
it,
and
and
plus the
and
free
and
navigation
freedom of the seas.
of the Strait of Hormuz, right?
Okay, fair
So
enough.
that's the two basic things.
All right, that we'll see. Deal pending, or at least a ceasefire deal pending. So we'll see how that all shakes out. We're just about the end of the first hour of the 288th edition of China Now. And we get back from the news break. We have a number of stories on China itself. So we're going to look at things that are going on in China and what China's doing around the world. That really kind of gives us a temper of the times for China. One story, China's Gray Zone Maritime Campaign, and how China has sent out, after the Trump visit, 200 Chinese fishing vessels that are going around the world, fishing for whatever they can catch, I guess. Japan and U.S. are going to met at the Quad in New Delhi to talk Turkey about how to defend themselves, I guess, against the Chinese aggression in the South China Sea. China is having an anti-corruption campaign that's turning up tens of thousands of miscreants every month. It's hard to imagine. But then if you look at some of the things that are going on here in the United States, I guess we all have cause to be concerned about corruption in government. As a matter of fact, a piece in the news today about a CIA employee was arrested for misappropriating $40 million worth of gold ingots and tens of millions of dollars in cash from the U.S. government. So I guess what goes around does come around. China is firing 300,000 enforcement officers. Why? We'll see. And then CCP is tightening up membership rules on who can be a Chinese communist. All of those and more coming up after this top of the hour news break. This is China Now, and we thank you for tuning in. Hope you'll stay with us when we come back after these messages.